What's up, Charles?
Hey everybody, how you guys doing today?
Aroha,
Hello.
aroha.
Doing fine, brother. Doing fine.
Everybody, welcome to Facebook Live with Mel and Charlie on this wonderful Tuesday night.
Yep.
And comments are starting to roll in. I love it when the people come in early, and
There
I'm
you
in
go.
shape. Round is a shape. Wake up music. They like the music. I love that shirt, man. I need one.
Yep. I'm in shape. Round is a shape.
Oh, right on. Yeah, that is, man. Mine is a shape. Mine is round too. All right. Awesome. What's up from Nalo? Ooh, all the way from Mama Nalo. Hilo. Awesome. Yeah, we
Yep.
should probably keep track of, how far this show is going. Oahu.
Yep. That's
I,
brother John.
I
Brother
know
John's correct.
a friend from Texas must be on already. Hang on. Let me go back up because
Yeah.
he usually comes on real
Mr. Nita.
early. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's not in. He's not in. Not yet. He'll be in. Rolling Nita. Where is he? Anyway, California on fire.
Ooh.
Oregon too, man. I just got off the phone with my daughter, so their power got shut off. Just because
Mhm.
precautionary measures. The fire is creeping up towards them, but they said tomorrow the wind's supposed to stop tomorrow, so
Yeah.
hopefully the fire slow down. So anyway, that's the only bad thing about this damn virus nonsense. It's we cannot. Oh, Hilo, right on. We cannot, visit our kids, and we cannot have them come visit us. So just gotta hang on for a little while more, and hopefully things start to lighten up. I know today's numbers. There's Rolinita Aloha from Houston, Texas. 11:49 p.m. up in Houston. Thanks, Roland, for always coming in, and all of you guys. Hey, Russell is on. Russell, mahalo again, bro. Mahalo again for sharing your story. I tell you, a lot of people were impacted by your story, and
Yep.
we appreciate all of you for tuning in every night, spreading the word. You know, that was always our intent was to get the information out, so you guys can share it with your friends and family, and yeah, we can start sharing right now. Click the share button. Click the share button and do a watch party or whatever you want. But yeah, get the word out. Tonight we have Dr. Miscovich on, and also his medical director from the Big Island, Dr. Akiona, was scheduled to come on. She just texted me that she's on the Saddle Road heading home from Kona, so she may not. She may be on her phone. I don't know what the coverage is like, but anyway, Dr. Miscovich will be on. HCCC was on fire. Two inmates getting and barricading doors. Start the fire. Not too smart. They blocked door for them to get out. Yeah.
Hmm.
It's I don't know, man. I don't know what to say, and I wish we all could just do the right thing, and I'm talking about government and as well as us individuals. Everybody just do the right thing, and let's get through this once and for all.
Well, did you hear about the craziness on Oahu what the mayor did now? Did you hear?
I watched his press conference, man. I heard the little. Did you watch it? I watched it live.
Well, I'm not happy because our kids. You know, at a time like this, you try not to leave them alone, but you can't even take them to the beach now.
What a park!
You only one. If you walk in with your kid, what are you supposed to do? Let them go ahead of you and I mean, come on. I mean, it's getting so absurd. I mean, you really think you're gonna stop the spread if I mean if the kid is in your own safety bubble, right? They're already home. They're not going to school. Where else they could have gone? And you go with them. What they're going. I don't know.
Charlie, I don't. If you watched it live, you heard somebody passing it yell. Did you hear what he said?
Yeah, and I heard the sign language person replied with the same.
F you. He didn't say F. He said the word. But
Yeah.
okay, so only one person can go to the park. So one of the questions was, what if you have your child? Well, only one person can go to. I wish I never got asked this question. He said, okay, so you are at home with your child all day long, all night long. You watch your child, but you cannot take them to the park. You cannot take them to. I honestly, Mayor Caldwell and I go back a long way. We had a lot. We're doing the TAT stuff, and we joined forces, all the councils, all the mayors. I really, it's like EGA. I had a very good relationship with them, and I probably not anymore, but I don't have any reason to not like them. But some of the things they do, like today's announcement of only one person can go in the park. Well, what what you gonna do? So you just stay home with your kid because you cannot take them to the park. Well, that's okay, but you
No,
cannot take them
you know what's going to happen now.
out to the park. It's
Honolulu will be the only county in Hawaii that throughout the day you're going to see kids driving their parents' car because they're by themselves, and
yeah.
the head just going to be barely over the dashboard like this, and
I,
they'll be driving down King Street, going towards Kapiolani. They, one of those things. They'll be putting on their blinkers, going down the beach, and then when they get out of the car, they're all 3 feet tall, and people are going to be going berserk, saying, "What the hell is that?" Yeah, the mayor only said one person.
you know, I like you, Charlie. I'm very analytical. So when I try to find the logic in that. Yes, it's the Ikeda special. All right, they're talking about my haircut. Ikeda, first thing in the morning, bingo, in and out. You don't have to explain. They know how to cut my hair. No matter which one I go in there, they all know how to cut my hair. But anyway, I try analyze and try find any kind of logic, giving them the benefit of the doubt. But Charlie, what is it? I cannot, for the life of me, I cannot figure it out. It's just, it just makes no sense.
I can see
No
why.
sense.
I can see why there is no occupancy at the state hospital right now. I can see why. I can see why.
Can someone explain why only one person going out? So no animals or your kids. I don't see the concept. Leah, I don't either. I don't. I mean, like, why not just shut the damn thing all down? Uh, honey,
Hey,
honey, I go to the park. Can you watch Junior? Because Caldwell said I cannot take Junior. But we can all stay home in the same house, enclosed. We cannot go outside where it's open air with my child, with my baby. I can't. I'm like, I, I don't know, Charlie. Okay, Charlie, just try for a moment. Just try to justify. Seriously, I mean, I can find an argument on either side of any issue. I really can. I mean, whatever it is, I can. But I cannot on this one. Charlie, I cannot for the life of me.
just imagine you a proud papa. You just brought your baby home, 3 days old for Kapiolani. You like a walk down the park with your baby. You get excited. Why? Your baby in your head.
If I was in Honolulu right now, honestly, I would go Walmart. I would buy one baby doll. I would go buy one baby doll that looked like one baby. I would put him in the stroller. And I would be going all over Honolulu, pushing that stroller all around the place. Honolulu, Hale, I would go all over, every place with that bear. To the park or to the beach with that doll.
What a lolo.
I cannot. I mean, like, what? There is no logical rationale. Absolutely. What the hell? What? This is Charlie. This is what the hell? In the morning, okay, they had to have a meeting. They have to have had a meeting, right? All the brains around, and they're saying, okay, what are we going to do about parks? Who's the dealing that said only one, only one person?
Whew.
Mayor, you cannot allow more than one person in a park, even if it's that their 6 month old child. No, no, because then it might get out of hand. Because then 2,000 people might see that and go run over to the rock and start jumping off the rock because you let the baby go in the
Or
park. Oh
or
my God.
or you can be walking with your baby, and they say no, mayor, because if you do that, out of nowhere, gonna get 1,000 babies gonna come surround that person.
Yeah, maybe that's what they think. So, I just cannot. You know,
Shit.
the only other thing is the mayor is so pissed off because he watches our show and he sees the comments and he listens to you, Charlie. He likes me though. So
He said,
so
he like,
he's so pissed off. He said, "I'm gonna punish you guys." That's what. It's not about any kind of logic or rationale. I'm gonna punish you folks because you guys don't like me, so I'm gonna punish you guys. Because really, there is no rationale at all.
well, this
Zero.
is what I would say to him: punish me all you like, but you better reconsider about running for governor because don't even try it. After after what you're doing now, people don't forget. And just remember, like I said, Uncle Charlie is laughing because it's good when I laugh. You just know it pissed me off. That's all I'm saying. It's good when I laugh. But oh man, I feel so good. Thank you, Mel, for giving me that gut busting time to me share my manao from manao by my laughter. And just oh boy, it is crazy. It is crazy. You
So
you kind of
and
wonder.
then Charlie, on top of the mayor is just writing material for comedians. Can you imagine when we get back to normal and the comedians? This COVID might rejuvenate the Waikiki showrooms. Going to have so many Charlie and I might have our own show. We just go up there and we talk about COVID. We
They
could
go,
do the
ladies
same
and
thing.
gentlemen, and our special guest, Kurt Caldwell. They erupt in big laughter.
Excuse
No,
me, Charlie.
yes,
Charlie, this
yes,
is Mayor Caldwell. Can you have all the kids leave the room? We can only have one member per family in this show tonight.
yeah.
Ooh, he gonna be remembered, boy.
Just
I just
imagine
don't.
back in the day, it was never checkers and pogo. With this new rule, it'd be checkers. It's gonna be checkers.
And then, Charlie, we find out this morning. You know that. When we started this show, by now we were going to have a weekly show once a week with local issues. Yeah, we thought COVID was going to be power. Okay, well, COVID is still around, so we're still doing this.
Yeah,
But we there's no shortage of material. We cannot transition to anything else because every day we wake up and there's more things. Today we find out that the state on Friday, our whistleblower Jennifer
yeah, yep, yep.
put
That
her
was
on leave, mandatory leave. Now we don't know the circumstances. We don't know, and she ain't saying nothing, and the state ain't saying nothing. But that does not look good. Now, again, we don't know, so it's probably not fair for us to criticize. But the point is this: you had a whistleblower come forward with a congresswoman on in a live press conference to share what was going on. That triggered the Senate COVID committee to go into action, do the surprise visit, find out that they were all liars. The Department of Health gets removed, the epidemiologist gets removed. All of these things happened because this one person stood up and came forward, and now she's put on leave. Like
yep.
pretty soon, we're not going to have nobody running the state. Everybody's going to be on leave. I I don't understand. So again, try to rationalize. We had this discussion earlier today, Charlie. There could be a lot of things could have happened.
Yep.
Maybe this lady was caught stealing one refrigerator from the break room at at the wherever the Department of Health. Maybe I don't know.
Well, I think what it was, I think she shared with many people that Caldwell was going to make the announcement about the only one person rule.
Or had spoiled the surprise.
That spoiled a surprise.
Or maybe
And
I guess that warrants
yeah,
one.
and
Yeah.
maybe that's why the one person she told was the one that drive by and yelled at expletives out the window. Maybe,
Oh, might have been her.
yeah,
I don't
she
know.
had one voice disguiser.
You know. So again, we gotta wait and see how that turns out. We know one thing, and I'm kind of hoping Miscovich gets on. He's getting me worried now. But he's very close with that person. Um, so hopefully we can get some kind of information from him,
Hmm.
because it's just baffling. She got the protection from the attorney general,
Yep.
for the obviously the whistleblower protection. Troy Wally Ali says she stole the whistle that she blew.
Yep.
So she's protected. So we gotta wait and see. I don't know. We're gonna have to just wait and see.
Yeah. But it's still, again, folks, we talk about, because we're all concerned. Just imagine if she didn't say anything, we would have never known what was happening. We could only suspect what was happening inside the the porcelain pyramid of the DOH. We can only imagine what was happening, but she was brave enough because why? If you're tasked with doing a job and you're being strangled from doing it properly, I would expect you to say something. I mean, it's just like saying, I'm a mechanic for the airlines, but they're not giving us tools. I would expect somebody to say something, because you wouldn't want to endanger all those passengers if you didn't have the right tools to maintain the plane. And
Yeah,
her tools was contact tracing. That was her tools, and she just wasn't given the right tools. So it's one of those things.
and she knew that if she didn't come forward, people would get hurt, would get sick,
Yep,
and
exactly.
possibly die because they just weren't equipped. So yeah, I'm baffled. I'm baffled, but yet I've been in this game for a long time, and I've seen things like this happen. I really have, and you just what they'll justify it somehow. I just don't think that when this thing gets to court. Remember, she has an attorney. She has Eric Stipe, and if you were on the jury, what would you think? What would you think? So yeah, it's gonna be something. It's gonna be something.
A good friend from the Big Island sent a hello to you and I. He's on right now on the other Facebook Live, and that's a congressional candidate. We had him on before. Senator Kahele said hi. So I hope he's doing well. So anyway, some
I'm
people are
texting.
asking, who's our guest?
Yeah, I'm texting Dr. Miscovich right now.
Yeah, so for those of you who are asking, we have Dr. Scott Miscovich twofold. Because when I asked Mel to, hey, try to see if he can come on, I really want to know what's happening with that veterans facility or that veterans home over in Hilo. Because, that there he is. He's right there. So those are,
Ask and you shall receive.
yeah.
Oh, there we go. He's fixing
There.
his hair right now. He's trying to fix his hair.
Whoops, I go this way.
What's
Hi
up,
guys,
Doc?
can you hear me?
Let me try. Hang on. Let me see if I can. There we go. Oh,
Yeah.
there. How's that? Is that
Yeah.
better? I mean, that's kind of nasty because Charlie, you got a big head, and mine is even bigger.
Yeah. So you watch before you say something. Try to measure your head first.
What's
You can
up, Doc?
you can put him in the middle, Mel. You
I
can
cannot
really.
move. I cannot. I can't move anything on this thing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I can move them. I can do them that way. Oh, there we go. There we
There we
go.
go. Perfect.
Oh, that's better. Perfect. Oh,
Perfect.
how are you, Doc? Uh-oh. Can you hear us? He cannot hear us.
Yeah, you can't hear us, right, Doc?
I can hear you guys fine. I
Oh,
can hear
oh.
you, Charlie. I can hear Mel.
Yeah,
You
you
cannot
can't.
hear me? You cannot
Yeah,
hear me?
yeah, because you did something when you moved him around.
I never even move him.
Do you want to send me a link on my computer instead of my iPhone and see if I can relink on my computer?
Yeah, he's gonna do that right now. You
Yeah,
want to
can
do
you
that? Yeah,
can you hear me?
Yeah, send it to like whatever, like scott.miscovich@gmail. That's an easy one to remember.
You
send him
still
to his
cannot hear me.
computer. Yeah, he's
Can you?
gonna come on with his computer.
Okay, yeah, send it. Okay, I'll get off of this one then.
Okay,
Okay.
Scott Miscovich. Well,
Yeah.
folks, this is what you call live Facebook Live when we just do things live, and hopefully we can get Dr. Miscovich on
What was, what was his thing? Scott.miscovich what?
at gmail.com. Yeah.
All right. Hang on. So other than that,
Yep. So we apologize, folks, but that's just how we roll. That's how we roll. We try to do it on this format, this platform. We do not have a production company. We are not up for any Emmys, for sure. Uh, we are not in competition with As the World Turns or what other show that you see in the daytime or early night. So we're going to try to send this link up to Dr. Scott Miscovich at gmail.com. It's Scott period Miscovich. And he's going to try to come on that way.
well, this happened last night. Was it last night? One, no, it was the night with Russell that Russell couldn't hear um, the other
Yeah.
guest. So
Yeah, Chantel.
anyway, so from tomorrow night we will be back to Zoom.
Yep. There
Okay.
you go.
Now, can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you guys. You hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Fine.
Nice.
Perfect. Perfect.
All right. Thank you for taking the time again, Doc.
Anytime for you guys. Come on,
God, man,
remember, you guys.
we put up the graphic that you're going to be on, and man, people just cannot wait to see you again. And
Yep.
Well, once again, it's boring, nothing to talk about, right?
yeah,
Oh,
I know. That's why we brought you on. Like
yeah.
in fact, I'm going to be very diplomatic and professional. But Doc, what the hell is going on, man?
You know, well,
I don't even know where to start.
you guys tell me where you want to start. I mean,
But
when I heard, when I,
let's start at the Hilo at the nursing home.
yeah,
Why don't we start there?
well,
How,
okay, so here's where we want to start. It's time where we need to start having the best practice standard of care being used and being held to every facility across the state of Hawaii instead of having people make it up as they go along. And, you know, you guys have talked to me over and over again, and what should be happening is it's black and white, and you guys probably could already say what I'm going to say. You get an outbreak, you go in, you test the entire facility, every resident and every staff member, and even people who have come into that facility, and you do it all in that same day within hopefully a 12-hour or 24-hour period. Now, what have you done? You have now created a spot in time right there. If you're positive, you're positive. If you're not positive, you're not positive. You take your positives and you isolate them and you quarantine them, right? We'll talk more about where we're failing as a state on that. Then what you do is now you found your positives and you go in and say, okay, this person has a roommate, but the roommate's negative. Well, guess what? The chances that roommate could convert to positive are very, very high. So those people are now what we call are people of interest, or basically we call them in the military parlance that defines this, they're in orange zones, or they're put in isolation because they're highly suspected that they could convert. So you take those people and you try to group them together. Anybody that was on that same floor, like if you had a positive and then a negative and a positive, well, all those people are much higher risk than someone up on a floor above. And so you group your orange zone together. So now what we have is your red zone, or your actual positives, your orange zone, who are going to be clustered. They could be even cohorted in the same room. And then now you've separated everybody else out. Now, who is your next cluster? Well, what about the employees? What if you've been working, caring for those people who are positive, just like over at the prisons? Charlie, you know that. Well, those people are also highly suspect. So you pull them out, you put them home, you put them in quarantine, right? And then what you're going to do is you're going to increase the frequency of testing, broad scale testing, on all of those people that are in the orange zone, because statistically they're going to convert to positive. You want to be on top of it. What we do is then you recommend that the vital signs that they're getting taken, it increases. The minute they get any symptoms, you say, you may be converting, let's test you sooner. It's not rocket science. You guys as police officers is probably, I mean, this is not that complicated. But what has been happening, people go in and say, oh, we'll random sample here, we'll take a test over here, and we'll test here, just like went on at the prison. It took them 10 days before they tested everyone. Enough's enough for the people of Hawaii, for the employers, for the nursing homes, for the workplaces. This is the way it's done. Everybody, I don't care if it's an accountant's office or something, you do broad scale testing with the first and second degree contacts within that cluster, and you figure out who has it, you isolate it, and you separate it. So we're over there. My God, it's 7 o'clock. In 11 hours, I'll have a teams on the ground, and we're going to do it the right way. So we'll be over at the nursing home. We were encouraged to come over by even way up as far as Senator Schatz. We have Al Yazawa, who's from Haima, who's a great guy, who's a geriatric specialist. We have literally a whole team coming in. And probably by noon to 1 o'clock, we'll have this entire facility, every staff, everyone tested, and we're going to start the process.
So let me ask you there, Doc. So from what you've said, and again, it's evident because you are the one that nationwide people are seeking your services in a testing field. The administration, didn't they reach out early on, or what were they doing as far as the hospital not hospital, but the nursing home administration? Did they just sit back and thought that maybe um, uh, a spike here and there was just an isolated thing? Because this thing took off really fast. It took off
And
really
that's what
fast.
we know what happens in the nursing homes. It takes off really fast. I mean, I read so much research all the time, and there's very well-defined research papers out that talk about the percentage of asymptomatic positives in a conjugate living facility like a nursing home is extremely high. So if you're trying to look for symptoms, or you're trying to look for people with cough or shortness of breath, you're going to miss it. The only way to handle conjugate living facility testing, and this is the same failure they did down at the IHS shelters that led to death, and this is the same thing. You name it. Look at every failed facility, the state hospital or the OCCC. It's because they all didn't do it the right way. They all basically just did it some partial way, and my belief is they were getting their advice from the Department of Health. So once again, we need to track this all back and say, it's time for the people of the state of Hawaii to start having accountability. When lives are being lost, there has to be accountability. Who's failing? Why is it repeating? Why do we have repeated failures that causes deaths of our kupuna? When's someone going to step up and start asking the question, who's making those decisions? Gather the evidence and find out, because enough's enough. So I'm sorry I'm being blunt, but when I see our citizens dying, and I see people dying in a veterans home, and we don't have any accountability, where no one's stepping up and saying, well, why did this happen? It's time to ask.
You gotta unmute, Mel.
Now you're muted.
Unmute.
Sorry about that. What the question is? Why not? I mean, it's not like we should know what to do. I mean, we have experts like yourself. We I don't get it. We what 8 people died now from that veterans home. They have numerous amount of positive cases. I pray to God that no one else dies, but why not? And they're people are saying it. The state and the county's got to step it up, and they may have to have the feds come in. So reactive, so reactive. When that first positive came up, I got to ask, why wasn't everybody tested? Why wasn't
I,
everybody tested? I
that's
mean,
You've asked a question. That's what we have to ask. Why? Who made the decision to just piecemeal this, to not follow best practice? Was it a cover up? Was it incompetence? Was it there was advice coming from someone that was trusted that was not right? I mean, there's 4 or 5 different answers. What's the answer? Why? Why? People died. Why?
that's what gets me, and the numbers on the Big Island has gone crazy in the last week. Today's numbers, everybody's jumping for joy. I cannot imagine any leader today feeling good about the 66 cases today, knowing that the test numbers were low, knowing that we're coming off of a long weekend. They know this happens every week, every Monday. The numbers dip a little bit, and then I just saw that none of the surge testing test results were counted. But where are we, Doc, in this? I mean, it's 66. Is that something that
That's
we shouldn't be
that's
considering that?
that's a fictitious number.
Exactly. That's what
That's
I'm
a
trying to
fic,
say.
you can't look at the daily numbers and try to put any basis to it, because you don't want to take me down this path, but this damn search testing, I think it was more propaganda than it was real,
It was
because
political. It was
yeah,
purely political, Doc. It was
yeah,
purely. We all know that it's
yeah,
purely political.
yeah.
And we had to do something. The Surgeon General was here. We're losing control of the virus, so we come up with this idea that we're going to test 5,000 people a day, give everybody a false sense of security, and what a racket, man! What a
So,
racket!
so tell me this. So we test 5,000 people a day, and where do we test them? In the damn H3 tunnel. What about in the middle of Wahiwa, or what about in the middle of Kalihi, or what about out there in the middle of Waianae, right? Who the hell wants to test people in the middle of a tunnel? What about the people who don't have cars? How many buses drop people up there in the middle of H3? It's just wrong. It's just wrong that we that no one was able to make a decision that really helped this along. And I think this was clearly a federal initiative, and so I guess the feds are the ones that are holding the bag on this. But it didn't go down into the heart and soul. If you did this appropriately, you would have selectively taken all the data. You would have looked at where all the positives were, right? You would have mapped it out. You would have looked at where the clusters were. And then what you would have done is you would have gone into those freaking neighborhoods if you had to. You would have put tents at the bottom of streets if you needed to do this the right way. Then you're going to find positives. Then your numbers are going to go up. But we're doing it on H3, or we're doing it, why don't we do it down at Neiman? Why don't we do it at Neiman Marcus? So.
Hey, Doc. I told Mel this. I said, okay, you test all these numbers, right? And the numbers came up to something like 15,000, and you only got 90 positives out of 15,000. So I said, why didn't we go into the areas that we had all these hotspots, target those areas, and see whether or not the virus dried up? Because if they didn't, then I'll be more concerned about those areas and anybody that came in contact with those areas and continues to come in contact. But if you got someplace like Waipahu that was a hotspot, but now their numbers have gone down, based on specific targeting, testing that area, That would kind of give you an indication that more or less the virus is kind of like calming down in that particular area. But then it also gives you the opportunity as well to follow from there, where does it branch off. And I think that's the importance, as we talked about it the last time, with contact tracing. You follow it from there, where does it go from there? But
Right.
none of that was done.
Right. And again, this doesn't have to be recreated. The data and the way we do this across the country, which you guys know I'm involved with this across the country, is quite clear. The percent positivity is a very important piece of data, and the percent positivity has two factors associated with it. If you're still having high percent positivity and you're doing a lot of testing, it shows there's a lot more disease and you have to do more. Or if you're not doing a lot of testing and the percent positivity is there, it shows you're not basically even testing enough to identify it. And so, we got to get that percent positivity down below 5%. But because Oahu's the hot spot, and we all know Oahu, I mean, why are we going to go test in Kohala? No. We need to test in the locations, and we need to start taking data-specific numbers from those locations to start seeing if we're getting the disease down in those areas we know that have large multi-generational homes. Let's go back to the facts. That's where it happens. Multi-generational homes are very, very common. Where are those found? Let's use common sense. Let's use the wisdom of Oahu, the wisdom of people who live there. And if we didn't have this big disaster at the Department of Health, that would have and should have been and still is the responsibility of the Department of Health. But where's the Department of Health right now? It's just like in shambles. The governor waited way too long to make decisions. We should have had this done when, hell, we were talking on this show 4 months ago to make this happen. Tulsi called for changes back in April or May after the Maui Memorial fiasco, and we just waited too long. That's just the problem. Now we have to play catch up. And the other thing is, I don't think there's a lot of outreach to the community to say, help us. It's still that kind of typical insular, very siloed approach that that happens down in the executive branch. And sooner or later we got to say, we got to communicate. We got to work together. We got to communicate. And guys, I want to say the same thing. I know I'm ranting a little bit because I hate seeing deaths and veterans come on, and we're letting our veterans die due to incompetence. But the fact is, I still live by the fact that we wake up tomorrow and everything else is behind us. We have to focus forward to stop this disease. And yet, on the other hand, we got to stop this unnecessary dying and have people being held accountable. Then they might not be as incompetent. Then they might stand up and say, uh-oh, I got a positive. I better do the right thing. I better follow the best practice. I better find some guidelines. So.
Well, I remember, I think it was the first time you were on our show, and the maps had come out where all these, the people that tested positive, where they live. Remember the map came out and there were areas that, what did they call the areas that didn't have any positives? You remember the term that they used?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Whatever it was, but I remember you saying that, why aren't we testing in those whatever areas they were called?
Exactly.
And that you were in fact mobilizing teams to go out to Wahiawa, Laie, that area.
You remember it was Wahiawa.
Yeah, I know. I remember because
it was out a point in Waianae, and it was Wahiawa, and we were all sitting here scratching our heads and say, "Wait a second, this is a total failure of testing. This doesn't mean those places are safe." And yet, why was I the only one out there trying to lead teams out there to do it? Where was the leadership to do it? I mean, this is something that. This is not that complicated. Almost probably half the viewers on here would be able to say, yeah, that makes total sense. That makes total sense. But you know why? We know what goes on in Wahiawa. Those poor people, they're all living together. There's got to be tons of positives. And a lot of them couldn't afford to go, or were afraid to go, or didn't want to get displaced from their families. That's where we need to be focusing. Focus on the people who are so at risk, who have challenges with education, who maybe people who aren't the most legal people living in our state. I don't care. Help them right now. That's what we need to do.
That's the thing, Doc. I don't understand. We're talking about Caldwell's announcement today that only one person can go in the park from a household, so you cannot take your kid out there or whatever. But the point I'm trying to make is when these guys all sit around the table to make decisions or discuss the issues, and take for example, you said it earlier, no one's going to drive from Waihiwa to the H3 to go get a test. No, and a lot of them don't have cars, they don't have transportation. So how hard is it really to have those same people in a room to figure out how we're gonna get these people tested, how we're gonna get them tested, and if we have positives, get them in a hotel, in a quarantine hotel, so they can live and get fed and not have to worry about if they become positive. Where was any discussion or game planning for that? It wasn't. It was very simple. Let's go spend $10 million a day. Let's go stop the tunnel. It's never been done before. It's never been done before. No one has ever tested 5,000 people in a day. So let's break that record. That's what I got from the discussions. Rather than focus on the people that need it, the people out there in those, like you say, the multi-generational households that people, they don't have the means to go and get tested. We should have been in their neighborhood. We could have used that same 5,000 kits a day and strategically placed them around the island so we could get a better sense of where these cases are.
Exactly.
No, no, light them up in a tunnel. Inhale those fumes, ladies and gentlemen, and while you wait for your self-swab test, and we hope you did it right. I don't get it. It's so frustrating. I don't get it.
Hey, Doc, I wanted to ask you, and this is what's really kind of bothering me right now, and you kind of tell me if I'm getting hot or I'm getting cold. But you know when this outbreak first occurred at that senior home on the Big Island, the veterans, you've got workers, so we know pretty much that the virus wasn't inside with any of the patients. Was it ever determined or was it ever told to you prior to you assembling your team of where it possibly could have started from? Was it from the employees bringing it in or visitors bringing it in? I would be highly suspectful of visitors because knowing that there's a pandemic, I mean, even some of the homes up here in Kauai, nobody can go in and visit the seniors. It's not allowed
Okay.
right now.
This is a good point, Charlie, and I'm going to bring something up that hopefully we start to get more out here now in the public. 95% of all positives in care homes and SNFs, senior skilled nursing facilities, are from staff bringing it in. 5% or so is coming from residents who maybe did not have adequate testing and then convert over, right? And they convert over. So they may have a negative test and then they convert over. So I'll address a couple of those. And since we have done testing in, I don't know, probably up to 16, 17, 18 nursing homes across the state, there's a couple of things that you have to understand. The CMS of Medicare from the United States federal government has made a determination. We've talked about this before, that we should have weekly testing of all staff members that work in nursing homes. And they sent the Quidel antigen machine into nursing homes, but yet now there's not enough supplies to run it. So the staff of all nursing homes, and we are getting nursing homes now, they're having us come and do this for them, should be tested. But you know what? When you ask Department of Health about it, they didn't even know. They had made no comment about it. And maybe it's changed over the last week or 10 days, but the best practice in the country when you have the percentage of positive going up where we were up towards 6, 7, 8, 9, 10% is you got to start testing, and you have to test on a regular basis. If not, you get the disease spread. It should also be in the conjugate living facilities. It should be in homeless shelters. It should be in addiction treatment facilities, anywhere where groups of people live together. So that's something we should be asking tomorrow. Tomorrow, the Department of Health and the people of Hawaii should be asking our government and saying, hello, where's your CARES Act money? Why don't you take your CARES Act money that has been just rained like manna from heaven on you, and instead of trying to find ways to do something with it, make sure there is testing of all staff members of nursing homes so we do not let our kapuna die. And I'm not making that up. The federal government has been doing this. I'm all over the country, and this is what they're using their CARES Act money for, is to ensure the highest risk people don't get the disease. And where does it come from? It comes from the staff. Do I fault the staff? No. I mean, how can you fault the staff? I mean, if they're out at parties and going to bars, yeah, I do fault them. They have to take social responsibility. But that's the big thing we need to do with nursing homes. And the same if you're in an addiction treatment facility or, or one of those places also. Everybody's got to be standing up.
Well, uh, one of your favorite followers, she just said to tell you hi, Angela Keene. She said, "There's my favorite doctor."
Hi, Angela.
She's online right now. She's online
Hi.
right now. So, you know when so what I'm suspecting then, if you say 95% is from staff, and correct me if I'm wrong, if a nursing home that probably three-quarters of its patients are probably bedridden, right, being serviced in bed, can't move. Now you have a spread. It almost sounds as if there was actually no protocol for something like this in that facility, unless they just took their time in moving, because it seemed like it was like a slow response.
Um, that's a really good point. Now, I know there are inspectors going out, but and I think there's some really good people that do those inspecting jobs. But guess what? Where does this all track back to? Department of Health. They all work for the Department of Health. We should have this. And I've gone and I'm meeting with these leaders of these nursing homes. If you have the bigger ones, they have leadership, they have money, they can do it. But you have all these smaller ones, they're winging it. They don't know. And they just get a piece of paper sent to them telling them what to do. Here's your infection control. There should be these massive dedicated teams because we know this disease will ravage our kapuna. Shouldn't we have like a lot of extra time, effort, and money spent by Department of Health, who's sitting on hundreds of millions of dollars, and to say, well, let's focus on our elderly and not, let's make sure they all know. Let's make sure that you have this best education program so that they don't just get a couple emails and a few sheets of paper that talks about infection control, which is what you're referring to, Charlie, to say, is it all happening? I'm sure there are ones that are failing, and are they doing it intentionally? I probably don't think so. Do they need some guidance? Do they need some help? Do they need to understand? Nursing facilities are not trained on respiratory pandemics. They need help. The whole state needs help. I mean, think of all the movies we watch. What happens? Everybody's out in their spacesuits, in the fictitious world. Well, that's supposed to be the state and federal governments, and the only people in Tyvek out there are my staff, and all the other private practices and hospitals are doing it. And DOH is like nowhere to be found except for a few random things.
And I think that's what is in fact sorely lacking is the education, the making sure that these employees of these care homes, and remember, it wasn't just care homes because we had it at Mount Memorial as well. But having those infections spread in a hospital is almost unacceptable. And I don't care how good you disinfect or you do what you got to do. We're not testing our employees on a regular basis. You're not knowing who's carrying the virus. I think that there's got to be. I know Charlie mentioned the protocol. Oh, Cujo. But
that's Norman.
That dog is not causing my neighbor's dog to bark. No, but I mean protocol. I mean, we've been in this thing for months now, 6 months, and yet we're still getting these outbreaks that in areas that we shouldn't be. And again, the State Department of Health should come out with, the protocol or the checklist should be the same for all of these care facilities.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
That's why I say, the military, I don't care if I was in a base in Korea, Tennessee, South Carolina, Hickam, it was all the same. Corrosion control was the same. And I wasn't in a medical field, but it didn't matter where you went. Everything was standardized, and that's just sorely lacking here with the Department of Health. They don't have a standardized protocol for these types of facilities, and everybody's on their own. And if you can, like you said, if you can afford the PPE, then and everybody gets a fresh PPE after every patient or whatever the, the the protocol says it should be. And if they're not doing that, then the chance of spread is going to grow. And
Okay.
there is absolutely no oversight, no accountability, and people are dying.
Well, let me throw something else out for the people for why to stand up and do. We've been throwing this out for 3, 4 months. What have the best practice countries done? So let's stay on the zone of the nursing homes. You find someone positive, get them out of there, transfer them to a COVID unit, to a COVID care facility where they can immediately be pulled out of the facility. They can be monitored and hopefully be prevented from dying from the disease, but also put them in a place where you have the right infection control with the right trained nurses. And again, I am not being critical of the care facilities. Those nurses are wonderful at what they do, but it's not training for respiratory pandemics of the last 200 years that they have been trained for. You've got to pull those people out of there, and then they're not spreading it through the environment. But what have we been doing? We've been just playing around at the state. Finally, we got congrats to Brian Cunningham up at Wahiwer General. 2 months ago, I met with Brian, and he walked me through showing me 23 beds that they have ready to do it. It took our frickin' state 2 months to get him to be able to have 10 beds available. That's pathetic. How many people have died because of that? This isn't time for bureaucracy. This is time for action. And I'm going to call it out again. Every island needs to have a skilled nursing home level patient COVID unit. So for example, if there's another nursing home on the Big Island and one patient pops positive like we've had, what do? You grab that patient, you transfer them to a unit that's sitting there waiting to accept them with trained, skilled people, with trained infection control, trained ventilation procedures, and then the facility has no positives, but now you have all those people that are potentially in the orange zone. You move them to one area, test. As soon as one's positive, get them out of there so that they're not spreading it to now where we have 50 positives in a nursing home. It's not that hard. And let's face it, guys, do we have bed space somewhere on this island that could basically have us being able to put people in? Hell yeah. Every freaking hotel in the state's empty, right? So we have plenty of places to put these people. But we have just we have bureaucrats from the Department of Health that are trying to, with no training whatsoever, that are out there trying to contract and design quarantine facilities. Is there any medical expertise in that? Zero.
Hey, Doc, I got a question here. And Angela's asking this question, but I guess this went out by Dr. Park in an advisory letter on her last day about people who have contracted COVID twice. Did you get to see that or heard about it?
No, I didn't read the letter, but I could certainly talk to you about people. We've had one main person right now that most of us would look like would say it maybe is a validated case of contracting it. And if you talk about one person in the entire planet, I'm not putting a whole bunch of credence on it. We all know it can happen. We all know that if we all waited around long enough, that certain people are going to lose their immunity. That is the history of what happens with coronaviruses. Again, SARS and MERS, we know that people would maybe hold their immunity for 2.5 years. And should we be following up and testing? I have plenty of patients that are positive that we're doing regular antibody testing to see if they're maintaining their immunity, and many of them and most of them are. A study just came out of Iceland, which is our best study that we have broad scale. It was just last week, and it showed that the majority of everybody's holding their immunity. So now, I don't want to go down too far deep into the medical science, but there's a question that the medical science will show is that are those tests that we're doing to show the antibodies, do those antibodies actually fight enough to stop you from getting it a second time? we don't know yet. The science doesn't know that. And as we move forward with vaccine uh, um, production, that remember, when you're going to get a vaccine eventually, you're eventually going to probably need to have blood tests to show that the vaccine took or not. And that's where we're going to start getting a little closer to understanding immunity or no immunity.
Oh, we lost Charlie's audio.
Okay, one last question. How's that?
Yeah, out and clear, Charles.
Okay, I'm sorry. So, with regards to this nursing home, I am presuming now that since your team is going in there, you folks are going to write up a plan for them that they're going to have readily available at all times, correct?
It's already done. We've already written up. It's already done. We already have. What's tomorrow? Wednesday. So we already have our Wednesday, Saturday. We already have scheduled 4 more tests beyond this to take it through the standard protocol. So we're already locked and loaded, and we will be there. We're mobilized, and again, we've been doing this across the state. This is not something that we should have anybody question what needs to be done. You go in, you test, you isolate, you quarantine, and do it over again.
Okay, good.
All right. So, Doc, we find out today that the whistleblower is out on leave. I don't know how much you can talk about it, but
I'll talk about it.
It kind of hit everyone by surprise. A Civil Beat article. I don't know how much credence you can put in that, but at the end of the day, the Department of Health did acknowledge that she was on leave, but nothing further.
Well, I can talk all about it because I was talking to her as she was being escorted out by the sheriffs last week, and it was absolute garbage. This has been, so hello, state, you just probably wasted millions of your taxpayers' dollars because she's just going to be able to take the state for just blowing her whistleblower immunity. It's just, hey, there's Dr. Akiona. Talk about Metro.
Sorry.
Oh, man. Guys.
We were Dr. Akiona. I know we haven't met. That's Uncle Charlie up there, but we did have our satellite link track your vehicle on the Saddle Road. Average speed 82.5 miles an hour.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound right.
But she's such a celebrity over there. She's not getting any tickets. There's no chance.
Are you the former police officer?
Both of them.
Both of them? Okay. My uncle is Victor Ramos. That's so
Yeah.
Well, the world just heard, but that's not
Victor Ramos of where?
Well, so he's assistant chief on Maui. He's Maui PD.
He was one class behind me, and I told him, I said, if you buy lunch for the chief, then you're gonna be assistant chief real fast, and it worked.
He was I know he's my uncle he's the sternest. He doesn't smile, but he's the nicest.
And then you have the other uncle that's over in Waipahu, right?
He was Wahiwa side, yeah. Modesto the third. Yeah, and then my grandpa and grandma were cops in Honolulu.
Yeah, we're all big partners together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for the day.
Yeah, hey guys, let me
So anyway,
let me introduce Dr. Akiona to the audience and to you guys. Yeah. Dr. Akiona, in my mind, actually, she knows what I told her when I met her, and she's been working now with me for over a year. I was like, I need someone to pass the torch to eventually when I can't do this anymore. But she has this incredible passion that just comes from her heart for caring for the people of Hawaii, and she's part Native Hawaiian, and so she has a passion for the Native Hawaiian and some of our from some of our communities that need help. And she's a family practice doctor, and she's doing things like she goes with a couple of paramedics. Charlie, you're
Dr. Akiona, you got wind blowing into your mic? You have like a fan blowing into your mic, or?
No.
Okay,
no
it's
more
better.
fan.
Okay, now it's good. I don't know what it was, but
yeah,
something was fun.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Or maybe
she
Dr. Miscovich's dog licking the mic. I'm not sure.
no, no, I'm in my little office back here. When you see me back here, the door's closed and you only hear the dogs barking. But she, like, a couple times a week is out in nighttime at this time with some paramedics and some nursing staff going to do street medicine, looking for homeless people in the streets of Houston. That's the type of person that she is. And so now she's leading all of our strike teams on the Big Island, and I've been fortunate to been over there with her many, many times. But she's been leading the charge, and she's going to be awake for probably another 8 or 9 hours, leading the team over there to do the testing over at the care facility. And how many people, Dr. Akiona, are you going to have there with you supporting you?
Looks like at least 35, because I think what we figured out was we would have the opportunity to kind of be flexible. So, you know, a lot of the patients they're not ambulatory, they're not mobile. So we're going to go to them. We have an additional safety officer with them. So we have just a team of 2 with somebody watching them to make sure things kind of, you know, we don't reach any of our protocol. And then we have a separate team that's going to focus on the staff, so we can kind of catch them as they're coming off shift or as they're going on, and we don't have to disrupt any of the services. And then I think the ask coming from all the folks involved was that we expand it, because we're really looking at a lot of these people who work in the home have large families. They have roommates that are concerned, and so we're opening it up to kind of close contact. So we're going to provide a bigger screen outside for close contacts and family members of the people who are affected.
So guys, that's how it's done. That's how it's done. Not only, look at that, not only are we going to be doing everyone, and the people who are coming off shift, people who aren't even working are coming, we're even going to open up to their families and to try to have their families, so we're getting that first degree contact. There's a big difference between that and randomly saying, let's check 1 or 2 here, 1 or 2 there. And that's what we got to do. That's the way we do it. And just to give more props to her and our team on the Big Island, we have 400 or 500 tests a day we're doing. I will give some props to Mayor Kim. Mayor Kim has engaged me with our group to get over there, as the surge testing was just halfway through over in Oahu. He wanted to start broad testing since the Big Island was starting to explode. So he's enabled us to get a lot more people over there and to begin, you know, again, we have 35 staff that are going to be over there testing this facility. But then, Kohi, you have other days where you have 1 staff here, 1 group here. You're
the nice thing was they kind of like the integrated approach. So we have the integrated approach with community paramedicine. So we have some medics, some MICTs, and some EMTs from fire usually supporting us. And it's kind of nice because they have on the ground experience, and so they kind of they give us the intel from their perspective. So, like, you know, like South Kona being different from North Kona, when they were the ones that actually said that they wanted us to go up to Honoka'a, because they feel like there's like a whole big area, the pockets of people that they feel when they're going out on calls that they would be worried about. So it's nice, we're integrated with them. And then we get some guard support, and then a lot of community. This nurses who just give their time, and then our team. So it's actually kind of nice because we get a lot of different perspectives, and a lot of these people are born and raised here, and I think the initial fear of being around COVID a lot. They're the educators now, so they're like, no, it's not so bad. You know, we just got to protect ourselves, and so I think the impact has been bigger because it's a lot of the community folks that they know what's going on, and it's so we're not coming from the outside. We're a lot of times we hear what's going on, and then we respond, and you know, we try to bring that back to the county.
Yeah, and this is a perfect example, guys, of how we probably should have had surge testing done instead of what we're doing here. Is what you just heard is you take community members, people from there, and you start going to the places where you know the disease is. That's what she has been doing with our group, running it for the past couple of months. And now we're being enabled to expand it. And we're going to be going into, I mean, you were down in Mountain View. How many times? We have regular schedule down in Mountain View right now. And, you know, we're going into those ethnically challenged communities, and we're just testing. Even though they're small, we're going in and testing them, right?
Well, yeah, and that was the cool thing was, you know, when in the very beginning, I think they were asking me, what would you be worried, where would you be worried about? And we kept on telling them the same thing. We're worried about the elderly, the kupuna. We're worried about the homeless and the unsheltered. We're worried about anybody who's traveling in large groups. So that was like our students when they come back. We're worried about flu season. We're worried about, clustered living. Because I grew up in a multi-generational household. My great grandpa lived with me. I had like 5 aunties and uncles, and my parents. I mean, a regular household is risky. And we're talking about Homestead, and they would hear me saying again and again, we have the biggest physician shortage in the state. So when we say that, the hospital saying, it's no big deal, just go to see your PCP, get an order, and get swabbed. And then majority of people cannot see your PCP. They just don't have access to the same things that we kind of take for granted. And so it was in when we would go to Honoka'a, there's a big group of seniors that live there. With there's a hospital right there, but it's hard for them too. And then we went down to Ocean View. We went to Miloli'i this past week, and we split our team. So the big team went to Kia'au, and then I took a smaller team to Miloli'i. And even there, so we set up at the pavilion, and some people could drive to us, but there's a whole bunch of people that the Department of Health was worried about who could not drive. So then we had a smaller paramedic team go door to door and swab them in the home. So we did about 21 that wouldn't have otherwise been swabbed down in Miloli'i in the village, and about 50. We did a total of 78 down in Miloli'i, which was not. I mean, we weren't sure what to expect. But majority of them were, we're all joking around. Because we're all related, so we're like, that was just one big family. But it was, people brought down the kids that they were worried about. They brought down, a lot of these folks were working in Kona. So it's like when we talk about something as simple as, we should just lock down Miloli'i. I think that's an oversimplification of what we have to do, because these are pretty big families. They have really important jobs, some at the courthouse, some at Ace Hardware, all over the place. And we cannot just lock it down. We have to give them a plan. And we had to kind of talk to them about resources. Like, so what does it mean to be isolated? Who's going to bring them food? How are we making sure that their kids are okay? Like it's a lot more complicated, especially in our remote, I drove 2 hours to get there, and it's a nice 20-minute drive down. And the kids were telling me that when they would miss the bus, they used to have to walk home. And I'm just like, it blows my mind, like how isolated some of these places are. And I think people need to hear that it's not the same as Honolulu. So
we have that issue on every island. Every island has their secluded spots. Obviously, Big Island, Kauai, the bookends of the state. Hana, of course, on Maui. Now, the question, Doc, is what if the state wrote you a check for $10 million to take care of the testing, the surge testing? Would that be enough for you to cover the whole state, or just the H3?
You're talking to me?
Yeah, you, Doc.
I feel like we could make that go a lot farther, Dr. Miscovich. I really think.
And I know, hang on, a lot of people is asking about the whistleblower. We'll get to that. I'm intrigued with this. I just listening to how you guys, what you did on the Big Island. Yes, it's difficult to get done, but the strategy the strategy is a
so
simple
doable.
strategy.
Yeah.
And that's what frustrates me, because
yes,
$10 million, we block off the H3, and we have people drive up and do their own testing. So the question, Doc, if the state said, you know what, rather than go deal with that and piss off the feds, let's write a check for $10 million to Dr. Miscovich, and you think you could cover the whole state with $10 million?
I'd have to do demographics on it. I don't know about it, but the bottom line is everybody knows what we're doing. We're not doing this because we're not making money off of it.
Right.
I would be able to look at this and figure out the number of staff it would take. What I can tell you is if you give a private organization that is doing this for the people and has experience and knows what to do, and I have these great doctors like Dr. Akiona, and by the way, who's joining Dr. Akiona tomorrow morning?
Dr. O'Carroll.
Dr. O'Carroll, our other new full-time Premier Medical Group doctor who's been on your show. Dara is joining Dr. Akiona tomorrow, helping lead the testing on the Big Island, and he's been flying over and he'll be helping lead teams. So he's another, that's what we're doing. We're bringing together the doctors that really care. And
one thing
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to mention before, because I think this was irritating. So before I did this job, before I went to medical school, I did the cancer patient navigation. So we trained community health workers to do this navigation thing. That was one thing that kept on coming up in the Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islander kind of forums, where they were saying we have all these community health workers who can completely really help you guys, but because they didn't have bachelor's degrees, they were kind of not invited to a lot of the contact tracing stuff. And there's these pools of people that are sitting at these FQHCs at a lot of these clinics, and if we utilize them appropriately, we could send out teams like what we just did. So small teams to Miloli'i, small teams to Hana. We could actually do these things, and I think that they were like kind of trying to figure out how to do it, taking what we've done as a private little clinic, because we can do some things that the FQHCs can't. We were innovative, and then what can we do to then enhance what we're doing? Because they're the ones getting the funding, so they're just like, how do we do this? And I think that's just like, you're not the only one who's like, H3 gets this much money. It's been echoed in all of these other forums as well.
I mean, we just from day one, Dr. Miscovich first came on the show. We talked about the importance of testing, and in fact, try to get Dr. Miscovich on Kauai, because we all believe that that was the key from everything we've learned, everything we've heard from every expert. Testing and contact tracing was key, and again, we just heard how Premier Medical was able to put a strategy together and mobilize the troops and get out to where you needed to be, and that's just what needs to be done on all the islands. And thank you for that. Awesome. Good luck tomorrow. Tell Dr. Dara we said hi.
I will.
Maybe we'll have the both of you on when we're done with the Big Island. When you guys are done, maybe we'll have the both of you on to share.
Yeah.
Share your experiences on because that's what we're looking for. These types of innovative methods to get the job done, save people's lives, and get to the people that, if not for you folks, would never be touched. Never. And
that's our motto. If not us, then who? So we do it. We just go.
Yeah. Well, good job. I know we're almost up at the top of the hour, but Doc, we did want to finish up that real quick about the whistleblower.
Okay. So, all right. So basically, I got a call from poor Jennifer, who was in tears, and she was saying, "I can't believe it. I can't believe it. There is a sheriff here, and they're going to escort me out of the building and put me on administrative leave." And I talked to her the whole ways out while she was walking out of the building in tears. And eventually they gave her a letter, which I do have a copy of, which is just like saying that she was threatening someone with guns or something. And she's like, doesn't have guns and it was just saying that a couple of nameless people were saying that she was threatening violence against them. I mean, you want to talk about a classic whistleblower retaliation, where you take a couple of people who were probably kind of in one of the camps that weren't real happy that she came up with the truth, and then our state walks her out and puts her on administrative leave when she has whistleblower immunity. That was one up. Talk about utter incompetence, that you're not going to investigate it a little bit more. I just was texting with her an hour before I came on. I gave her references of attorneys to go to, and she's going to her union. This is going to be just pathetic that this is going to be brought up. I mean, I have the letter. I immediately called Tulsi, and Tulsi was just livid, and Tulsi got a hold of her within hours, and she's been working with her directly because all of us feel she is a hero. And she stood up, and for our state to let something like that happen based off these two just very spurious, like ridiculous allocations, is whoever did that, they should be fired. But
was it on a state letterhead?
Yep. State letterhead. Well, as a matter of fact, you know what? I got it. I'm pulling up my iPhone. I got it right here, and I'll see if I can find out who even signed it.
I don't know Jennifer. I know we had hoped to get her on the show. Maybe now she wants to come on our show, but
well, I think she's probably going to get an attorney, It was signed by Danette Wong Tomasu.
Tomoyasu.
Yeah.
Yes, she signed it.
Is
Is
she
she
a
an attorney?
deputy? She's a deputy, yeah?
She's deputy, yeah.
Yeah, she's a
Yeah.
deputy.
Well,
Yeah.
She took over.
She took over the
tell,
plaza, you know?
tell Jennifer and I really, I mean this. Tell her to. I know it's rough, man. It's tough, but just tell her go home and relax, and this thing will all play out. And the feds don't take these things lightly. When they involve a whistleblower with that protection, they'll get to the bottom of it. And I hope and I pray that they get to the person. When you start messing with the whistleblower, in this case, you talk about look at what happened. You got Bruce Anderson, Dr. Park, all of these people basically lost their jobs. Um, People get upset, and then political connections that these people have are so strong. I have no doubt someone was told to go make up this nameless bullshit. Got to stop. This whole thing about the complainant is anonymous.
Give me a
Let
break.
people have fun. She's gonna have to go through a lot of crap.
No, no. Just the accusations from what Dr. Miscovich said. It's either an acronym branch made it up for them. It was either the CIA or the IUD, one of the two.
She,
I,
you
I,
know,
I,
I've got to know her. Tulsi and I have got to know her. She is a total apolitical person. She was working 60, 80, 100 hours a week. She was doing more contact tracing than almost anybody in that entire facility. She stayed there nights and weekends. And she went, after she even did her whistleblower, she made sure she went back and she just worked nonstop doing her job. And again, we all know, we've talked to people, and you look at tilt your head and say, she is totally apolitical. She just cared about the people, and she came forward because she knew people were going to die. And guess what? She was right. And guess what? She came forward, and yes, they lied to us. And and now this kind of garbage. Wrong answer. Wrong answer.
How
well,
does the immunity, how, with her going to get immunity from AGs? How did, I mean, are what they saying, are they trying to trump that immunity plan?
I that seems like it's some spurious. When I look at this, it's like that there's a threat of violence or something like that. I mean,
If there was a
get
threat of
into it.
violence, I would think the complainants themselves would have made a criminal complaint, and it wouldn't be the sheriff. It would be HPD coming to pay her a visit.
Yeah, yeah. It's just, we all need to stand strong behind her, because this has to be looked into. For someone to let this happen, for someone who stood up, and literally her actions where she stood up and did something like that is going to save lives. And now she gets acted upon. This is wrong. It's wrong.
well, it is wrong, and it'll get looked into, and if there was Charlie's right, if there was any type of criminal behavior. In fact, that's what I told Charlie when we had the discussion earlier today. I said, unless there's some criminal behavior or some kind of act that, you
Yeah.
know, but we saw her at the press conference, and Charlie and I, both ex-cops, we've interviewed probably thousands of people. I saw her tremble when she got to that one point in her statement that she broke down, and she was, that legitimate, genuine trembling was obvious that she was suffering from a lot of trauma. There's no doubt in my mind she was telling the truth, and if in fact she had threatened somebody with guns, then yeah, she would have called the police. The person would have called the police, and the state is very stupid to go ahead and take this nameless victim and send her home on administrative leave. Administrative leave is paid leave, but they're gonna bite the bullet when this thing gets done because she's a whistleblower. You cannot touch a whistleblower. You just cannot. And administrative leave is while she still gets paid, it's still a sense somewhat of a punishment. In the way you're describing it, it is punishment. It's saying, hey, you threaten somebody, so you go home. That's horrible. That's
Well,
horrible.
let's take a look at this, okay? Ruth Anderson and Sarah Park went on administrative leave, right? Until Bruce Anderson retires and until whatever happens to Sarah Park. So the question is this: did they get escorted off the premises by any sheriffs? The answer is no.
No,
Justice.
wait. Sarah did. Sarah Park was escorted off by sheriffs.
So why was so was that the second time or the first time?
That was the last time I was made aware of that was being done by sheriffs, because there is administrative leave, and apparently Sarah Park failed to adhere to kind of some internal cease and desist that she was being told to stop doing things that she was doing, and she finally had to be escorted off.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Damn.
man.
I wish they were as tough. I wish they were as tough against this virus than they were against people.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, guys, I'll tell you, you guys need to have Dr. Akiona on again, because if you get to know her, you are going to get to know. Don't let her just kind demeanor and her cute pretty face, everything. She will go right after you, man. So watch out for her.
Let me ask you, Dr. Akiona, is that your maiden name, your married name, Akiona?
This is my married name, so I was a dang. I am a dang. I am still a dang.
So your husband is a Big Island boy.
No, he was Makaha Akiona.
Oh, okay.
We're separated, but he's still good. He's Ikaika Akiona. Everybody knows him from all the musicians know him.
Yeah. That would be my next question.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, but she's out there working 7 days a week and leading these teams, and she's able to do everything from all the staff that we've hired through Premier for her, to volunteers, to National Guard. She's integrating. It's a great community effort now that's moving forward, and I'll be over there. I'm going to reach out and go over and meet with the mayor and his team, and he wants to keep broadening the testing effort. So we're going to keep broadening the testing effort under Dr. Arakiona's leadership, along with probably Dr. O'Carroll will be there, and other people. So, and then we're getting some recruits from the new physician assistant program who are still over there waiting to be released from quarantine. They're joining us. So we're just kind of, we're getting everybody together.
Well, I think your success story will be that senior home, once you folks get in there, bring it under control really fast, because someone posted earlier the stats. They went from 4 to 56 and a number of deaths. I mean, just for one area. And like I said, what makes it hard is when you have patients who are immobile. They themselves, they can't run away from this virus. They're stuck there, And so, like, as police officers, we are already always trained that, hey, if we're going into like help and there's a fire, you look for people that really can't get themselves out. You try to tend to them first and get them out. So the unfortunate thing is you have these people there who are basically living out their lives, what they thought was a safe location, and then all of a sudden you have this outbreak, and especially if they still have their mental faculties and knows what's going on, yet they're immobile. I bet you they're crying inside, say, please get me out of here, or something to that effect, because they're just basically what they're doing is just counting the minutes as they go by when their number gets called for them to get the COVID. I mean,
it's hard because Hilo is, it's a small, so the family's not able to visit either. So it's, that the whole traumatic situation with the family, you can't be with their family unless they're passing. It's just rough on both sides, and we talked with Mayor Kim about it, right? Protecting both sides of it. So making sure that your worker feels safe and that they can go home to their family and feel safe, and then that the patients feel safe, and that the patient's family feels that everyone is doing the best they can, so that their mom and dad, who they cannot visit, is being taken care of. And I think that's the hardest part right now. Is it's like that heartbreaking feeling that that the families are having right now, where they feel like they could have done more, but there really was nothing. Nobody knew anything. Like, there was no information going out until it was too late, and a lot of that heartbreak that they weren't able to stop it. And I think that's kind of what we take with us. We remember, we know what it's like to watch people in the last moments, and then kind of not. We don't. If we can stop some of that, we're going to try. So I think that's the urgency of it. Is we're up all night trying to plan logistics and safety, and it's because they're real moms and dads, and real sons and daughters who are crying right now because they cannot. They feel helpless, and so that's why, even though I'm cute, yes, I do. Like, I make a big fuss. So I'm a tiny terror a little bit because it's urgent. We don't have any time. We wasted so many months. I think that's the message we're taking to them right now. Is this is urgent. We mean business. We're going to do it, the best job we can, because no matter where you live, Miloli, Hilo, Honolulu, Waipahu, Wahiwa, you deserve the best. It shouldn't matter who your parents are.
Don't forget Kauai now.
My sister's te Kapa'a, so Anahola. Sorry, she's in Anahola.
Hey guys, we're welcome. We would be willing to come over there and do surge testing anytime. So you name it, we would do it.
They got it set up. They got it set up right now, and I know we definitely out of time, but they have the Westside pharmacies doing the surge testing. Very, very small turnout. I did speak to a couple of people that went. There was absolutely no one waiting, so it's all the way out on the west side. We'd love to have it done island wide, so we can. A lot of people still ask. A lot of people still ask about testing on Kauai, and we'll wait and see if that'll ever happen. But just want to thank you guys for what you guys are doing for the Big Island. Dr. Akiona, nice meeting you. And we do absolutely want to have you and Dara back when your mission and when you're done with this next mission, and share a bit about how it went. But
get him
on
next week.
I'll let him know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You just tell us, Doc, like yourself, man. We got an open invitation to you whenever you want to come on. We have to bump Congress tonight to get you on tonight, man. We have to say, excuse me, we're going to have you come on later. We have Dr. Miscovich.
No, that's true. I mean, first we had you, Scott, and then when you see you had a guest on, we were going to actually have Beyonce on with us, and we bumped her for, Dr. Akiona. There you go.
There you go. Yeah,
that made my day.
She's bumped her other times, so that's not the first time. No.
We'll definitely. You just let us know when you talk to Dara tomorrow. Find out what day the two of you can make it, and you let us know. Just shoot me a message on Messenger, or actually, I got my text now. You can text me. Just let me know what day, and we'll get you in.
Yeah.
And Dr. Miscovich, what's up with the SEC, man? Are they going to play?
September 26th, we kick off, man. I came back from down there. SEC is full beer. I'm now actually at final phases working with Conference USA, ACC. We've already talked to them. Football's being played. Actually, SEC, we've already talked about soccer, volleyball, cross country, golf. All of them they're playing all their sports. So
okay, this is my last question, and then we gotta go. I'll let the both of you go. But yesterday we had BYU and Navy. I totally forgot about that damn game. I missed watching it live. Thursday we start the NFL. Actually, day after tomorrow we start the NFL. You think, Doc, this is in your professional opinion, do you think we'll be able to get through how many weeks before I know you're running the testing and all that stuff for SEC, but do you honestly think we can get through this season?
We're going to get through the season. The protocols that we have in place for the SEC are just so professional. I've been working on this for 3-4 months. Very proud of the leadership. I'm on the medical advisory committee, and it's going to happen. I think we're going to get through a season. There will be clusters, there will be outbreaks, but we're going to get through a season. Too important to the country not to. NFL, they'll get through it. Some of the schools are going to have some really hard times. I think there's going to be pockets of schools where they're going to go to parties and you're going to have 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. They're going to be wiped out 1 week and can't play because they're either close contacts. Because the other thing we're working on is if you are positive, we're doing contact tracing internally, and those close contacts then have to go through a very aggressive serial testing, but they're out. They're going to miss a week. So at minimum of a week, depending on what we find. So if you have guys that aren't paying attention and going out, you could have a whole offensive line or a whole group of people out. So I think it's a good time to be on a football team, being the second or third string player.
I'm just gonna say the bench warmers are like, yeah, man.
Bench warmers are
The
going to
bench
get some
warmers gonna be
time.
hosting the parties, the dorm parties. They're gonna be buying the beer.
They're going to be buying the beer, man. They're buying the beer
all right.
for sure.
Oh no. Oh
Hey,
no.
and Dr. Akiona has another thing that she's famous for. She did her residency over at the University of Pittsburgh, and so she
Med
is,
school.
yeah, med school. Yeah, oh, that's right, med
Yep.
school. And look
Yep.
at that, look at that mask. She's a diehard Steeler fan. She did med
Hang
school.
on, hang on. You're gonna like this. Hang on, because I am a Steeler fan. Wait. I'll show you something.
So my
You're gonna
daughter
love
was
this.
my daughter is born in Pittsburgh, so she believes it's her birthright as a Yinzer.
Hang on. I just got this.
Uh-oh.
Nice.
Oh.
Who says that?
Hang on.
Wow.
Juju Smith.
Oh man.
Who signed
Jones.
that? Who signed it?
Juju.
It's Jones.
No, that's not fair. Okay.
This is, look at it. Look at this.
Oh
I
man.
just want to put it on, but I don't want to ruin the value.
I
But look at that thing. Oh, look at how shiny.
It's so shiny.
Yeah. Okay.
You get your eye protection, you get your mask.
Oh, man.
I
That's
don't want
good.
to play. I don't want to do a one-up, but I'm going to see if I can hold this picture up. And then
Oh
you're gonna have
no, yeah.
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 She knows who it is. So I don't want to do a one-up, but
He's a nice guy though.
yeah. Here we go. So this was back in right around the beginning of COVID. This was January, and see if this shows up here, guys. Well,
yeah, he outed Josh, right? Because I think he gave him a face mask, and I think he outed Josh Green.
So basically, that's none other than, here it is, myself and the good Lieutenant Governor, and here it is. We had the honor of spending his 70th birthday down at the Hilton Hawaiian Village with Franco. There is Franco and his wife and
He's
myself
70
and
years
Josh.
old?
He just
I know,
turned
he looks
70, and so we celebrated his birthday and took him down to the Hilton Hawaiian down there, Franco Harris. What a
Oh,
gentleman!
man.
So
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Damn.
yeah. So that was here
70
we
years
are.
old. But see, that's when football was football. When Franco played, and look how big he is. Jeez.
Yeah. He's not a small dude. So there's he and I and Josh. He's a big dude. So
Looked like he could still strap him up. Oh, well.
yeah. And the COVID was just breaking out, so I gave him a gift of he and his wife 2 N95 masks. That was his birthday.
Yeah.
He was pretty damn happy about them too.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks. Charles, any closing comments, Charles?
Well, I first would like to say thank you to our two guests. It's always a pleasure having you on there, Scott. Thank you so much. And it's a pleasure to meet you, Dr. Akiona. I will tell your cousin that I got to meet you on live tonight. One of our other partners has been watching, and she's on Maui, so she'll probably tell.
Oh, okay. I'm his favorite niece, so.
Okay. No, he was a very mild-mannered individual. But I'd just like to say thank you to both of you. To our viewers out there, I hope tonight was enlightening. We did have a lot of serious stuff that we talked about. But like we promised, we were going to talk about the care home over in Hilo, and we was also going to talk about the whistleblower. So now you got it firsthand from somebody. I know you want us to try to get her on. We'll see if she wants to, but right now things are very fragile. So I hope you understand and respect her if she doesn't want to come on. But we got the second best thing, and that is the doc himself with firsthand knowledge. So this is, he's getting it directly from her, and you've seen what's been taking place. So I want to say thank you to all of you on this beautiful Tuesday night, and take care. Mel?
Thank you guys, Doc. Both of you, Doc, two Docs, the Doc and a Doc. Thank you all for what you guys are doing. I got to tell you, man, you guys are so appreciated by all of us throughout the state. And thank you for what you guys are doing. And looking forward to talking with you all after you're done with the Hilo deal. And Doc, thanks for sharing about Jennifer. We all got to stand behind her in this time. We all got to flood again. Emails. Email your governor. I don't think he answers them, but it's despicable what they did. It's despicable. It's illegal, and just pray for her strength and pray for her and her family as they go through some real tough times. I tell you, she saved lives by stepping.
Exactly. She's a hero, and to be
She's
treated
definitely a hero. We talked about her last night. We talked about Jennifer, and we talked about Charlie, help me with OCCC. Why am I having a brain fart?
Lana
Lana
and Hughes.
Lana and Jennifer, huge heroes for our state, and it's very difficult to do what they did. So we pray for both of them and their families. For all of you tonight, thanks again for joining us. We'll see you guys tomorrow night at 7 o'clock with another mystery guest at 7 o'clock. So thank you all. We love you guys. God bless.
Bye-bye.
Stay safe.
Thanks. Bye.
Aloha.